The judge in the It Ends With Us case just denied Blake Lively. But does Ryan Reynolds have a smoking gun that he's been holding out on? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore with some updates for you. Man, Blake Lively just got denied. Pretty rough. I didn't see that coming. I got to be honest. Just to recap before we get to the judge's verdict to explain what happened here, she requested more time. She's apparently trying to amend her complaint. We're waiting to see who else she's going to include on that complaint. She's implied there's going to be more people. We assume it's the Jed Wallace character. Many suspect it could be Brian Friedman. Could it be Stephanie Jones? My gosh, wouldn't that be interesting? We are waiting to see who she's going to add, but she requested more time. She wanted an extension and requested it by March 5th, asking, clarification on things and said, and so about motion to dismiss dates as well for the March 20th. But that's when she was asking for an extension to March 5th. So she could take time to actually do this. She, put a lot of stuff out here asking for this extension, but it was all just very funny because Blake Lively literally refused to give Justin's team an extension when his lawyer's house burned down. She refused at that point, which they were very quick to point out to the judge, and said here, this part I'll never forget. Lively's parties ignored the effect of the Los Angeles wildfires on Mr. Freeman's office insensitively. It was wild that they did this. Now, what was interesting though about this is Justin's team did not attempt to challenge Blake's attempt for delay. While they did point out the fact that, this was pretty rude of them to do it, we are not going to stop them from seeking it because they wanted to be fair, which kudos to them. Now, what's fascinating, though, is the judge denied it. The judge was like, nope, you do not have a good enough excuse. Here it is. Order granting in part and denying in part 65-letter motion to extension of time. The time to file an amended complaint is extended to February 17th. The Lively parties have not offered good cause for any further extension. The time for the Lively parties to file motion dismiss is March 20th, so that didn't change. So they gave her a few extra days, and then he ultimately did clear up a confusion because the 17th is a holiday. So now she will have the amended complaint due on the 18th of February. So on the 18th of February, make sure you're subscribed. Stay tuned. We will have updates, I'm sure, on that date. They're not going to probably put it out earlier. They're going to take as much time as they can to fine-tune this amended complaint to see what happens next. That's what we're waiting for. A lot of things can't happen, depositions, etc. Nothing can happen until we know who's in there. And if Brian Friedman is mentioned and included in the complaint, that could change things. Not necessarily bad for Justin, but obviously might have to change up the team and what's happening. And we shall see. A lot of things are hung up on this issue. So we will keep you posted on that. But I wanted to share something else in this video, talking about a theory that's been out there, because I've been wondering this too. Like, how did it get this far? How did Ryan and Blake get it this far? Now, from Blake's perspective, I can understand it. The more we're seeing, and last night as we watched that full Forbes interview, learning more about Blake, her mother, the way she is, the entitlement and selfishness and demands she needs to have in order to have authority. It doesn't surprise me that she has spun this narrative in her favor. But Ryan, could he be someone who's actually, a pawn in this and not really realizing the extent of it? I want to play this clip from the Dumas podcast with Dana Bowling, who was on the show. Listen to this.
You just had a baby too, and can't even tell.
I don't think you're supposed to say that.
That's okay. I identify as a feminist.
Deadpool 3 wrapped on January 24th, 2024. That film wrapped before It Ends With Us even concluded filming. Meaning they filmed all of those nice pool scenes way early on. So they have been hating Baldoni for so long.
Oh. Now that's important to recall. She's right, because the wrapping was there. Basically the beginning of It Ends With Us would have happened during Nice Pool before. And then so basically prepping with Justin, those first, 7 days, it wasn't that long of shooting happened. And then while they're shooting Deadpool, he added in those bits to sort of make fun of Justin. So yeah, the hate for Justin was very evident from the beginning.
People were picking apart the text messages, like, she's flirting with him, like, look what she's saying to him. But was she just being passive aggressive? Because behind the scenes, Ryan was writing these lines for Deadpool. Does she have a smoking gun that we just haven't seen yet?
This is what I hear is coming down. She's coming out with an amended complaint on Friday. The only reason I think that they don't
That got delayed.
have this big smoking gun is because why wouldn't they present that day one?
That's what because I paused. She's making a good point. Why wouldn't they have had that since day one? Agreed. That's what we all have said. Why wouldn't you put it all out? You put everything else in there. You picked and chose your text. You did all this stuff. Why would you hold on to more is the question. Now, some would say, well, because you want Justin to play all his cards and then have one more ace up your sleeve. Do they have an ace up their sleeve?
So I spoke to my friend who was at William Morris yesterday, and they said the one thing that makes them think that there's something more is they were speaking to someone who's in Ryan's camp. And they said the one thing they know about Ryan is that he's not an idiot, and he is not dumb enough to go this far without having an end game here.
Now, again, doesn't admit to having that smoking gun, but the question does remain. He does seem like a smart guy. I'm not going to lie. He does seem like a smart guy. That's why this all has been so weird and frustrating. He does seem like a nice guy to a lot of people. Sure, he's clearly got this darker side where he wants to have control of his projects. But in a weird way, with Deadpool, the way he took over Deadpool, I kind of understand where he went. And it seems like he did make amends with Tim Miller from what I've gathered. So I'm not on the hate Ryan Reynolds train like everybody else because he may being fed something else. He may, when he took over Deadpool, that really was his character, his voice. Like he has to own that. Now, I think he could have treated Tim Miller better. Of course, I think Tim Miller would admit that as well. But from what I've gathered, Tim Miller is apparently good with all of it. Tim Miller doesn't want to be involved in any of this nonsense, and Tim Miller's not jumping up and down, jumping and saying that, yes, let's torch Ryan Reynolds. Look what he did to me. So I'm not as mad at him. I know everybody else is, and you guys can be, but I'm still hung up on this idea of like, why is he buying this? Why is he allowed to go? Now, she's the mother of his children. So yeah, that's a fair reason. He's in love with her. They've been together for quite some time. They are seemingly committed to their things. They talk all the time, yada, yada, yada. He is a loyal guy, apparently, unless you're shooting Green Lantern and you're with Scarlett Johansson. But aside from all that, the rumors even there were that she didn't want to have kids and he did. And so, look, is Ryan Reynolds really that stupid? This is the question I'm asking you. Hate whoever you want. I don't think we should hate anybody. We should all be nicer to each other. But do you really think Ryan Reynolds is that stupid to keep this going and have supported this as long as he has without some sort of smoking gun? Are you, at any of you, humoring or accepting the fact that maybe there is? Because if there isn't, it's like, wow. That's all I can say. Do you think there is a smoking gun that's going to come in this amended complaint? Do you think there's more they're going to finally drop to try to really take advantage of this narrative? Because this is their shot. This narrative that they need more time on, that they're clearly digging around for stuff. This is their moment to fight back and say, you all doubted us. Well, look at this. Bam. And I expect they are going to put a lot of more texts and things that they've tried to muster. But I just don't believe it exists. Why wouldn't we have seen it already? Why would you have held on to that and let all this get this bad and out of hand? Because even if there was some sort of inappropriate thing that they're going to reveal of Justin, I still think at this point, Blake Lively's lost so much stock, it kind of won't matter to a lot of people. So this has become a mess, absolute mess. What do you think? We got more to report on. You're not going to miss it. I got another story I'm brewing on. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts, smash that thumbs up as well, and let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments down below. Appreciate you guys so much. You guys are so amazing. Thanks for such an amazing live yesterday. We'll be live again tomorrow. So join. Also check out Patreon. You can watch yesterday's replay for the full Forbes interview. It's wild. Click me eating the popcorn. That logo right there.